Hello, it's Anna here and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do a little run through of the cards I made participating in Kendra's card challenge number 6. Kendra is a wonderful YouTuber who puts together these fantastic card challenges. She does 4 a year. They're a 3 month challenge and they really are a challenge. So this one here, this is my second one that I've participated in, and this one here actually probably is a little more challenging than the first. However, I'm really happy with the way my cards turned out, and it really did make me think about a few different things, and I changed up a couple which I'll run through as I go through them, but I'll just speak a little bit about this, but you will be able to go to Kendra's video explaining the whole cutting up and the challenge itself. I just want to show you what she does provide, which is cutting templates for 6 sheets of paper. Everything's color coded with a little pair of scissors as to where to cut on each individual page, but she explains it fantastically, so I'll leave it to her to run through that. What I want to do was just show you my interpretation of how I put them together. So once you've done all the cutting up of your 6 sheets of paper, you run into the actual card sketches themselves. So once you've cut them all up, all the colours correspond to the colours you see here, so a good idea to print it out in colour so you know exactly where you're going. What I do is I put together, this particular challenge is 15 cards, so I make 15 clear envelopes or slips, and what I do is I number each one, so as I'm cutting them I put them all in there, and that way I can keep track of all my bits and I know exactly what's happening. Otherwise I'd be a total mess by the end of it. But I'll start and I'll run through what I've done. So first of all, starting here, this is sketches 1 to 6. So here we go. So that's sketch number 1. So I pretty much kept to that one there with a couple of little changes. So instead of just having that there on its own, I turned that into a tag, and then I added this nice big star die cut, and then added another few little stars to embellish. I just love the colours in this one here. I've used a lot of bright colours, and they're really quite beautiful. So that was card number 1. Card number 2 it's a fairly close match. So I've just got the panel here just with a little circle, or actually not a little circle, quite a big circle actually, and then embellished it with the ice cream cones, and then a few little stars to go with that. So for card number 3, which is that one there, so I've kept that fairly much the same, just with this strip rather than a strip and the little dots. I actually chose to do just like a decorative strip, which was just like a die piece, and then I embellished with stars around here just to sort of fill in this space, as opposed to, because that was sort of a little bit smaller, and I wanted to just add a little bit more just to the bottom there. With number 4, so I did change this one up slightly. I found, particularly with this set of cards, I really struggle with small embellishment sizes. I mean, even though 2 inches is not super small, in comparison to the space on this card, my mind was just not working well with it. So I just put a slightly bigger circle and then an embellishment on there, and I felt that I still needed something at the bottom here. It was just a little too plain for my liking, so I just added quite a big sentiment at the bottom, and then obviously just a few little sort of candy type looking embellishments there. So moving on to number 5, is this one here. So that's fairly similar. However, what I've done is these banners weren't working for what I wanted to do, so I actually reduced the size of them and I moved them over to the right hand side, and then I added my house here for a little congratulations card on a new home, and that seemed to work much better for me. And you know, it's all about what you've got. So I mean, you know, if something doesn't quite work, just make it work to what you have. So that was that one there. Now moving on to number 6. So this one here was I mean, it was a reasonably sort of easy card layout as far as just sort of the one solid piece, and then it did sort of say to pop in some sort of stripe panel. I used a diagonal stripe, just with a cover plate, and then with this bit in here I added my little embellishment there, and then I needed to fill in. Once again, I felt there was just too much open space there and I just needed to fill it in, so I put in a whole bunch of little stars, just to sort of fill in some space and add a lot of bling there. So that's a cute little one there. So now moving on to, here we go, next page. So we're running on to card sketches 7 to 12. So moving on with that. So I've got this one here. I changed this up a bit. So once again, this sort of smaller circle in that top corner was just really not working for me. And I'm so sorry, Kendra, because I love your challenges, and you challenged me way too much this time, which is quite funny in itself. But I decided to use one of the stars just to fill in that space. I think I just have a lot of an issue with sort of lots of big spaces on cards, but you know, it's obviously all personal opinion and likes. I added on, instead of the 3 on this little strip, I made that a scalloped edge strip, and I put my 3 here and just popped a sentiment in there. So, you know, even that, I find that's still quite a plain card, but you know, it sort of worked for me. Now moving on to this one here. So this one here, I changed the layout, the direction of it. So I was just, for what I wanted to embellish with it, I just couldn't make it work. So I thought, how about if I turn it over? So what I did is I turned it to make it a portrait style instead of landscape direction, and then I just added in this tag. So rather than having it centered, I put it to one side. It fit my embellishment quite nice, and then I just add in an additional scalloped edge and just the sentiment there with some other little embellishments on that. So, you know, although that was that in that direction, you know, there's no reason why you can't sort of change it up and make it work for you with what you have to embellish. Moving on to number, what would that be, 7, 8, 9, is this one here. So this is reasonably close. I think it's actually almost, I didn't really change it up too much. So just I banded that edge of this strip, and just my little embellishment on there. Just added obviously some little gems there, and that's sort of fairly much straightforward. Moving on to 10. So once again, this little circle. It was going to be the death of me in this set of cards. However, I really wanted to use a rainbow with this rainbow paper. I really loved it, and I wanted to use the dies with it, and then of course incorporate my gorgeous little unicorn there as well. So I just changed that up and put a bigger panel, obviously a rectangle there instead of the circle. Otherwise the rest of it's fairly much similar. Instead of the 3 little dots, I sort of, actually I think I put 5 little sequence on there, and a scalloped strip rather than just a plain one. But I just really love the way that turned out. I do love the little rainbow and unicorn bits and pieces. Moving on to the next card, which must be 11. Our little unicorn friend is back. So this one here, it did say to have some sort of textured, holographic, embossed or stenciled panel. I decided to use one of these sort of cover plate type of dies, which adds, you know, nice texture to the card. And then obviously, you know, I highlighted that rainbow paper, but just made a nice little cute embellishment of my unicorn, who's such a little cutie, and then decided to pop those 3 little hearts, which wasn't on this one here, but I felt that it sort of just brought that all in together. Moving on to card 12. So this one here, so I decided to, obviously with these 2 thin panels, is turn them into a scalloped edge strip. I added a sentiment up in this top corner, and then added my main embellishment there with my rainbow and little unicorn again. very cute. I added some texture in the back as well with using that cover plate again, which it adds beautiful dimension and just another layer of texture, which is really great. Now moving on to the last 3 cards, which will be on the back of this one, which were sketches 13 to 15 and 13. So this one here, quite a nice sort of plain card, but I think I did adjust the size. I mean, definitely the size of this panel is a slightly different size, and then I also adjusted these little banners a little bit as well. No 3 dots here, just popped a house on there for a new congratulations home. And just kept it sort of quite clean and simple. It's just really striking, even though there's not a lot going on there as far as, bold colours and so on. And I really quite like that one there myself. Moving on to 14, bringing the rainbow back in. It's quite a cutie. So this one here I did keep fairly similar. So I used the strip and then the 3 different strips of colour, and then I did use obviously a much bigger circle on this one here. Once again, I just could not use that smaller circle, so I did move that up. I'm not sure what, it just doesn't sit right with me with small embellishments and a lot of sort of negative space, but I just felt I needed to fill in the area there just a little bit more. So that's that one there. And lucky last, this one here took me quite a while, number 15, to work out how to embellish this sort of longer looking panel. So I struggled with that, but in the end I decided to do an embellishment to sort of fill in this this sort of bottom corner, and then I added in the 3 stars there, and I think in the end I'm actually quite happy with the way that one turned out. So I just want to say thank you, Kendra, for all your hard work putting these card sketches together. They are such a fun challenge to do, and really do challenge you, so it's great. And I found that I was using some sets that I hadn't used for a while or hadn't used at all, so that's a really great way to get out all the bits and pieces from your stash and get crafting. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed these cards, and this challenge is actually almost up, and it's taken me so long to get things moving, but unfortunately I did end up with COVID, and my kids ended up with COVID during this 3 months, so it's been a little bit of a challenge, but we're all good. We're back on track and back into the crafting. So I'll put down the link to Kendra's card challenge video, which gives you all the instructions and how to use it and where to download the PDF, but she will actually be having card sketch number 7 coming out soon, so head over to her site, which will be linked below, and you can find out some more details. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this and that I inspired you to go along and try the challenge yourself. Thank you, and see you next time.